Yo, it's your boy Bully, and today I'm about to do yet another My Hero What If. This is what if Deku had Miles' powers. So, let's get into it. Where we last left off in this What If is with, Shinzo losing to Deku pretty easily with just one punch. Deku will be watching the other fights like Baku vs Uraraka and Momo vs Tokoyami. Momo wins and say that Momo wins her fight, and yeah, she moves on to the finals. But it's now to the continuation of the second part into this one, where Todoroki and Deku have to fight. So Deku would pretty much go to the stadium, and so would Todoroki. Todoroki, he really wants to beat Deku because he knows he's the strongest, fastest, and smartest in the class. So he's just gonna have to beat the number one person. But Deku, he's just trying to get the fight over with a lot faster because he's worried about Miles and how he's doing with the whole glitching thing and him supposed to be evaporating from this world. But hey, I'll explain how he's not in a couple of minutes. So yeah, Deku pretty much starts the fight with him pulling Todoroki towards him with webs and pretty much kicking him with both of his feet. Todoroki would get that blow, and he ain't feeling too good, so he started using his eyes to try to protect him, as Deku is just fucking electrocuting it, and it's just starting to melt into water, as he just grabs Todoroki and judo slams him on the ground, as Todoroki is getting even more angry, as he would get up and say, "Don't use your webs," as Deku would say, "Okay, don't use your quirk then." So they would have this segment of hand-to-hand combat, and I don't know how you're supposed to have hand-to-hand combat with somebody that can dodge every move, but yeah, it is what it is. Todoroki tries to throw a punch, and Deku just dodges that shit, and he pretty much take his arm. So he pretty much takes his arm and flips him to like the edge of the stadium where he could fall off. Todoroki had no chance to really use his ice, but he would try to regain balance, and he would. So he would go after Deku, saying that was a cheap move. They would continue on with this hand-to-hand combat, with Deku getting every hit in, with Todoroki getting none. Deku would basically say that he's pretty much predictable. He's just only going for the fist. Like, he's really only trying to punch him. So Todoroki pretty much pulls up on him with a kick. I'll say it would surprise him, but Deku has spider sense, so he can just flip right over it. And yeah, he just flips right over it and pretty much flips right over him, and he's behind him, and he touches his shoulders so he can just get electrocuted. As say that Todoroki at this point, it would be pretty aggravated that you already have this person who is already stronger, faster, smarter, and everything, just an overall better hero than you will possibly ever be. And plus, when y'all start fighting and he's not using his quote-unquote quirk, he's still bodying you easy. You're not even getting hits in. So I'll say that he's getting pretty mad, and you know how Spider-Mans are. He just kind of be just talking a whole bunch of shit while he beating you up, so yeah, he's pretty much, "Oh, you getting mad, Totoro? You getting mad? Why you mad, bro? Why you mad, bro?" So Todoroki, he mad now because, he mad. He a bum. So So yeah, he's starting to spark in flames. And Deku's saying, okay, now you're showing some real emotion. Start using your quirk. Start using your quirk then. Start using that fire. As Todoroki would say, I would never use my dad's quirk. As Deku would just say, it's not really his quirk. I mean, you got it. It's kind of your quirk. He doesn't control you when you use it. So it's kind of yours quirk. Like you own it. As yeah, Deku said that Todoroki, he'll forget that he even had a dad, because that's basically what happened in that moment. He even said it himself. So yeah, how do you forget that you have parents? That's tough. Well, he pretty much forgets that he had parents, and he pretty much tries to use his fire. It's all over the place. It's not really tame, because you haven't trained it at all. So yeah, pretty much the fight goes on, and yeah, Deku, he tried to use his webs on Todoroki, but no, it kind of burns. But before it can truly detach, he just shoots some electricity through it, and it'll say that Todoroki gets a little shock from it. But so he just grabs the webs that are already detached from his body, pulls Deku forward. As it's about to go for a hit, Deku would just Deku would just dodge it by just ducking. But instead of just ducking forward, he kind of ducked backwards, just turning his back fully backward, just slide across the ground, and kick Todoroki in the back. As Todoroki would almost be able to fly away, he just uses ice to save him from getting out of the ring, and he would jump off of it, and he would start start fighting with his ice. As he would throw a punch, as Deku would basically grab it, and I'll say an ice spike would come through Todoroki's hand, but Deku, having spider sense, he would just let go of his hand, grab on his arm, and pretty much just yeet him away from him. He ain't trying to have that. And Deku pretty much goes for a finishing blow. Todoroki gets alerted by him about to go for this blow, and Deku is about to body Todoroki, so Todoroki ain't really having it. So he's gonna go for his finishing move too. As they're both running at each other, Deku with electric energy around his whole body, using his full strength and speed. He's running at Todoroki, and Todoroki realizes that he's running a lot faster than he is. As all they can see, or all Todoroki can see, is Deku running towards him. Then a millisecond after, gray. Just literally just gray. As Todoroki gets shot back and he gets saved by his ice, because they did put the cement walls, and Deku just went straight through that shit. Deku is right next to Todoroki at this point, as Todoroki's pretty much right in his little ice thing to catch him from where he was about to fall. Deku's just standing there, right there, because he just went right through the cement. As Deku did not go outside of the ring, so it ended up with a draw, a match that they would continue. So after pretty much the draw, I'll say that Deku would have to see. Well, not Deku's pretty much seeing, say, the other fights, I guess. So yeah, he would pretty much get a text that the particle accelerator, or the thing, I'm just gonna call it a particle accelerator because why not? The thing that's supposed to bring every Spider-Man back to their separate dimensions. they pretty much says that that's pretty much done because they have been working on it. Because him and Miles have been working on the particle accelerator at first since the 10 months, but now they got all the Spider-Mans working on it. Now it's done, and the only way Miles is keeping himself alive by, you know how when people are about to die, they kind of shoot electricity for those things into the body because yeah, that's how that works, right? Yeah, so I guess I guess that when Miles is about to die, I guess he just shoots electricity for himself, so he just stays alive. So yeah, I know it's a dumb excuse, but I need something. I need something. So pretty much, this is where well, they would pretty much have this particle accelerator pretty much done, like every part of it done. So yeah, they're pretty much all putting it together, and yeah, it's pretty much being made. But Deku pretty much has to dip after. No, it's pretty much being made. He pretty much says bye to all the Spider-Mans as yeah, he thinks that's supposed to be the end of it. They leave. Everybody has a good day. He does the sports festival. He wins. Just how it's supposed to go in his head. He pretty much gets back to the match, or gets back to basically his fight being called up again, and the rematch pretty much starts because the draw had to be continued. So yeah, they would pretty much start over, and Deku, he can take his time. He can do whatever the fuck he want now. So yeah, Deku, he moving at all types of speeds. He starts off like moving slow, not like super slow, like he's just walking. Then he just blitzes Todoroki, kicks him right in his head as Todoroki just flies across. And he pretty much gets up a little struggling like. And I'll say that Endeavor didn't really talk to him, so I guess he can really just use his fire without caring about his father or debtor, Endeavor or whatever the fuck. So yeah, he's just doing his shit. So he's using fire and ice, and Deku just using his webs and his electricity. Oh yeah, and yeah, I'll say that Todoroki almost had Deku cornered for a second, but he just went all invisible on him, electrocuted him to the point where he was shocked, so he can't move. So he just dipped, used some webs, and I'll say that Todoroki, like midway as he's being webbed up to be thrown out of the ring, kind of like wakes up from the anaphylactic shock, and he's just trying to rip the webs, but it ain't really working because he a weak ass boy. And Todoroki's about to get thrown out the ring, as he would just use his fire and ice, or really just his fire, to burn the webs, and it's kind of burning the webs in himself because he's a dumb ass nigga. Look, how does Todoroki's ice make him cold, but his fire does not burn him? Why is there only a drawback for half of the quirk? Wouldn't it mean the quirk would be overpowered? The fuck? Yeah, but he's pretty much burning himself a little bit because that would make sense. If his cold half can cold himself, he should be able to burn himself with his burn half. So I don't really care. So he's pretty much being he would pretty much be let go because of the fire, and yeah, Deku would turn uninvisible for a second and run at Todoroki, but mid jump he'll basically turn invisible again. Not really, making Todoroki kind of just look around for Deku, as Deku would de-transform from being invisible and come down, because I'll say that he jumped in the air, and he was kind of swinging from say he was swinging from a building that was higher than the fucking thing. So yeah, he's kind of just swinging from that. He didn't leave the match. It's just a building that was tall, so he just kind of swings from it. And Deku pretty much did that pretty easily. As Todoroki just looked left and right behind him all types of ways, but he just didn't look up. So yeah, he just comes straight down, and he just kind of shoots electricity throughout his whole body, pretty much giving him like this adrenaline rush. So it just makes him faster and just makes him feel like he's not getting hurt even if Todoroki hits him. So he pretty much gets grabbed, and Deku pretty much grabs him by his shirt and just starts flipping him in the air. And it almost seems like how fast he's going. He's pretty much teleporting, it almost looks like, as Deku is on the other side of where Todoroki was thrown, and he just gets hit down by Deku as Todoroki realizes that he really does not have a chance as he's struggling to get up. As this is happening, people are cheering. Something that didn't happen in canon, actually. An explosion. This is where I'm gonna change up the story because we need something to happen, okay? So, an explosion would happen and it would kind of bring the attention and the match would be on, pause. But, before they can even try to, put the match on pause, Todoroki just instantly falls out, so it just goes for Deku. Deku just wins that match. But, he didn't win the sports festival yet, so it's not that good. But, they kind of hear an explosion, and the building just gets knocked down. As the trip that they were supposed to go on, like during the woods and shit, yeah, that's not really gonna happen. This is where it's probably gonna end in part 4. Like, this is totally different. So yeah, it's pretty much finna go down right now. So a building gets blown up, and planes come through, and just starts knocking in the buildings, and like everything is getting blown up. Fucking. Like the sports festival is getting evacuated. Everybody's running. They're stumbling on people. Fucking throwing babies. Like they're, they're running and they're just going crazy. As they pretty much all just evacuating and everybody's just running home. As he would pretty much go check before he can get home. I'll say that he won't go home. I'll say he just swing right by his house just to see if his house is intact, if Inko's there and all that shit. He sees that Inko's okay, so he just dips. Inko wondering what the fuck happened to him. As he pretty much dips, he goes off to go find the Spider-Mans to go check this out, go see what's going on, cause shit is breaking down. As for the last time he's been fighting, pretty much the Spider-Man and woman are pretty much fighting Kingpin and a bunch of Kingpin, the League of Villains, and All for One, and there's some heroes there, but they're totally bodied, like decimated. And Shigaraki by this time would already have All for One, because yeah, pretty much Deku pretty much pulls up on the rest of the Spider-Mans, and they start fighting. They start going at it. I mean, obviously Deku pretty much goes for Shigaraki, not knowing that he has All for One's quirk. So yeah, he just trying to not let him touch him. As he would just web towards him. He just web him, and pretty much shock him. Shigaraki would just not feel anything, grab the web, and slam him on the floor and throw him. As Deku's basically almost flying away, he's wondering what the fuck happened to this man's. Like, how is he this strong already? So he pretty much flips off the wall, and like he has to know who's behind this. As he pretty much sees All For One, and just the explanations and from All Might. So yeah, I guess he would see All For One, and he would think he was behind it, because he's supposed to be all big and bad. But no. He actually has a partner. Matter of fact, it's almost like All For One was the sidekick. It was Kingpin. Kingpin and All For One are pretty much all in this together. He kind of, All For One, he has his needs for the particle accelerator, and Kingpin just wants his family back. But, Deku just needs the Spider-Mans to leave, because, they're all gonna die. As, Miles pretty much stands up, he starts trying to fight, and he's a lot, slower than that. He's a lot slower than he was before, because, and a lot less stronger, because, he's dying. That's kind of sad. So, yeah. So he pretty much going after Kingpin. He thinks he can handle him, but, he pretty much jumps on his back to try to electrocute him, as he pretty much gets grabbed. He gets grabbed too and thrown up into the air, as Kingpin would jump up, and just fucking slam him on the ground. As, the explanation for Kingpin's quirk is just that, every time he gets angry, the more stronger and bigger he gets. So, yeah, it's something I thought of myself. So, yeah, Deku pretty much sees that, Miles just got bodied, so he's not trying to have that. As, he would pretty much try to handle Shigaraki. He would pretty much kick Shigaraki with all of his strength, and it would just totally break Shigaraki's neck. As, Shigaraki would just touch his neck with 2 fingers, and it would instantly heal. As, Deku, just being how smart as he is, just being him plus Spider-Man brains, he's just too smart. So he's just thinking, okay, I see how it is. As, he has an idea. So he pretty much, swings near to Miles, and he's pretty much attach webs to Shigaraki to just weapon him and bringing him towards him. As, Shigaraki will be brung towards Deku, he would kind of go at him with disintegration, but, Deku would basically grab, 3 of his fingers, or his 2 fingers and his thumb, and break him, and just have 2 fingers actually working. And he would basically, put Shigaraki's hand on Miles, so Miles would basically get healed, and it was like he never got glitched out. It would only start happening again after the fight. So, yeah, he's fully healed. Deku kicks Shigaraki away. Miles has to recover, so he's out for like 12 seconds, but now he's back, and he feels amazing. He feels like he's truly Spider-Man again. So, they all pretty much squad up again, and they start going after, All For One and Kingpin. They mainly go after All For One because, Kingpin, he's Kingpin. Ain't nobody like that nigga. But, Kingpin tries to rip through, most of Spider-Man. But it's not really working because Spider-Sense and all that shit. So he's not really getting any bigger or stronger. They're not just gonna let that happen. Like, he has to actually like he's getting bigger and stronger just because he's missing every hit. But they kind of like, okay, we actually need to fight him. So I'll say like anime Spider Girl and Spider Gwen and Miles, they go after Kingpin, and regular Peter Parker and Deku, Noir Spider Man, and Spider Ham. They all go after. They go after what's his name? All for One, yeah. And Shigaraki's just sitting there with his 3 broken fingers. He heals them bitches and he starts going after Deku, cause Deku done messed him up. Like he broke his neck, he broke his fingers. But he hate him now. So yeah, he pretty much going after him. And Deku, since Shigaraki is just basically pretty much going at him in ignorance. He's not really actually having a plan. He's not sticking to the plan at all. Cause if All For One gets beat, he's the plan B. Okay, that was the plan. Shigaraki was never even supposed to be out here to fight. That's why Kingpin was already mad because the plan was already broken. All For One pretty much knows that the plan is already fucked up. There was supposed to be a surprise All For One when Shigaraki pulled out. But luckily, Shigaraki did not use any of his other quirks except for his disintegration and healing. So, yeah. As, Deku is pretty much tag teaming All For One. He kind of thinks about his interaction with Shigaraki as he's dodging, All For One's hits and slapping him up like, Spider-Man did to Thanos. So he's pretty much bodying All For One, because All For One, he can handle one Spider-Man, but he ain't handling like 5 of them. So he's getting marauded with all their special moves, and I guess yeah. And yeah, was the 2099 Spider-Man there in the Spider-Verse movie? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. He was, but yeah, he's not gonna be here. I don't think so. So Deku, he pretty much bodying, and he knows that he is gonna have to wrap this one up, as he pretty much sees Shigaraki, and he's gonna have to beat Shigaraki. And the only way he gonna do that, he pretty much gets him and Miles. They kind of do like this little tag team for a last blow. Miles pretty much web his left arm. Deku goes to web the right arm, and they pretty much just pull both his arms out the socket, so he can't really use his disintegration or his fucking healing quirk, which that's all they know. They think he has. As pretty much, they're just beating on Shigaraki at this point, because Shigaraki doesn't really since Shigaraki basically is All For One, and he kind of just he's basically an All For One clone, so you can kind of like pick whatever quirks you want. Since Shigaraki's just an ignorant little fucking kid, he'll just pick the quirks that's gonna make him physically stronger and is gonna heal him, because he would think of that, but he won't think of anything else, because Shigaraki, he's only going after power because All For One being All For One for basically almost 100 years at this, like over 100 years. Let's be honest here. Like he's been All For One for multiple generations. So he has like 2,000 quirks. So he pretty much he would know what quirks to get. Okay, and plus there's no defending yourself back then because quirks are still weird. That's still a weird thing to do and have because quirks were just becoming new, where All For One was just a little kid. So, yeah, I guess that, Shigaraki pretty much gets bodied. He's pretty much, I'll say that he's pretty much unconscious for now. And well, yeah, Miles is looking after him, make sure he don't move, make sure he's not waking up at any time trying to do something. And the rest of the Spider-Men are pretty much trying to take care of All For One. As All For One would look over to the left and see that, well, that Shigaraki is pretty much getting bodied, or already got bodied, and they're all just bodying, and they're pretty much bodying Kingpin because he barely even, like, at the end of Spider-Verse, he couldn't beat Miles, so he's bodying them. So yeah, Kingpin gets bodied. Kingpin gets bodied by all the Spider-Men. All For One, well, All Might comes through, and with the help of All Might, they all body All For One pretty easily. There's really no other way I can really explain this. I'll continue the rest of the story on part 4.